You know, every time we do a consultation, this is where I end up. 90 minutes call to Dubai with a company that turns over 100 million. And I was asked a clear question on the call, and this is how I answered it. But the reason I come up here before I answer this is I do a walking timeline. I become the observer of me on the call. I float into the screen and stand beside the people who are on the other side having the call with me, and I have a wider perspective of what went on in the call. And then I go and timeline it from now to 5 years into the future. And I start to really understand the maps of the people who were on the call. What was the story they said about themselves? What's the story they said about the business? Who does what they do globally around the world? And that's a fast track past to modern and mirroring. But the specific question I was asked was, what would you do for us? And the first thing I said to them was I would have the ability to come into the boardroom, and this has been proven for 3 decades. I will be able to suggest and see things that you don't see today as a board. And then I said you would identify the leaders who you want to be supported, and then we'd look at roles and responsibilities through KPIs and communication strategy. But we start to pay attention to their stories and how they think the role should be done, the limitations and the beliefs. But we would also start to look at the values they have. Are they connected to the business values? Are they connected to their own values? Are they connected to everybody else's values around them? And then what we would do after that is we would then start to talk to them about what the succession role is that they want to achieve. So then everybody would be connected to self, everybody would be connected to one another, but it would also be connected to the future goal. So if you think about a company with a board who's now starting to see things that they weren't thinking before, and then you've got leaders who have been more connected to themselves, connected to each other, but then everybody's focused on the future goal as a business and as individuals. That's some energy. So what is it Stevie Kidd does? What's the pathway do? We re-engineer how you think and feel, because we understand the mechanics of everything from the consortium to the board, all the way through to every single person within the organisation, but you'll be measured against who does what you do globally well. That's what Stevie Kidd and the pathway does.